Let's get a European perspective on Brexit now. I'm very pleased to say that joining us from Berlin is Katarina Barley, German Minister for Justice and Consumer Protection. Katarina, thank you very much, Minister, for joining us. I apologise for some of the background noise you might hear from a noisy Westminster. Let me ask you about Brexit then. If the UK government comes to the EU 27 and asks for another extension before April the 12th, how long a delay will be on offer? What kind of a delay to the Brexit process can Europe consider?
Well, it depends on how the proposal would look like, because we've seen negotiations for more than 2 years now, and we've seen delays being moved forward, and we still don't actually have a clue of how this is going to end up. And I think it depends very much on the proposal itself. If the government knows where it wants to go, and as soon as we know where the government wants to go, we can adjust the delay to that process.
This was supposed to be Brexit Day, Katarina, as you will probably remember. It's not turned out to be that way. Many people looking back on the past couple of years with that in mind. If you were to describe your emotions about Brexit right now, do you feel relief that it's not happened? Do you think there's frustration in Germany with the length of the process? What's the German perspective?
Well, my perspective is a bit special because I have a British father and I have the British citizenship too. So for me, the whole process is very emotional. It hurts that the United Kingdom is going to leave the European Union. It hurts me personally. But if this is the will of the people, we accept that, of course. From the continent, actually, it's more a sentiment of astonishment, I would say. We don't really understand what is happening, because I think there have been votes on every possible solution now, and every time the answer is no. So people here have just the one question: what is the way you want to go? What is the question that you would answer with yes? Concerning Parliament and concerning the government.
Yes, indeed. It does seem difficult to find one solution that the Executive and Parliament would come behind. Let me ask you about something else, Minister, and that is around the European elections. You are, of course, the SPD's lead candidate in the European elections. Is there a risk to the stability of the German coalition, do you think, if the SPD does badly in these forthcoming European elections? Are there questions around the coalition?
Well, we don't intend to do badly. I'm running for this because I'm very much pro-European, and people do see that. The polls for the European election are considerably better than for the national ones, and we intend to do well.
You intend to do well, yes, but could there be a risk to the coalition, or is the coalition on a firm footing?
Well, there's really no point in discussing this point, because I mean we're 2 months ahead, and as I said, the polls are getting better and better, and this coalition is very stable. So I don't see at the moment any kind of danger coming up.
Okay, the SPD is pushing for a financial transaction tax. Europe has talked about this for a long time. Britain is trying to leave the European Union and wouldn't have any plans, I'm sure, for that, and taking the City of London with it. Do you think it's the right time to talk about a transaction tax across the EU 27?
About the financial transaction tax, there have been talks for I don't know, more than 5 years at least. And now it's at least coming to an end, because we need an important number of member states to join that so that it makes sense. And at the moment we do have 10 member states who are willing to start this process. And it is about time that we move forward there.
You've also talked about a common corporate tax base. This would be very contentious, I imagine, in places such as Ireland. Do you really think that Europe can find common ground on corporate tax?
This is in fact nothing that only takes place in Europe. It's an OECD matter. The OECD is willing to come up with a proposal in summer 2020 for this common base. And so we are very much optimistic, as in the US we already see this, this common base for economy taxes in place. And so there is a high probability that also a lot of European states can agree on this, and that would make an end to the race to the bottom, which is a problem for a lot of member states, Germany included.
On another subject, I want to ask you about weapon sales to Saudi Arabia, Minister. The government you're part of has extended its embargo on weapons sales to Saudi Arabia, but are you disappointed at some of the exemptions and the length of the extension?
Well, we as Social Democrats are quite clear on this, and we have managed to fix that in the coalition treaty, that we are not willing to export weapons into regions where there is war, because we don't believe that that is something that adds to a peace process. And this is the decision that we have taken as a party, and it is the position that we're taking within the coalition. Yeah, there are not many supporters on this point also internationally, which I regret. I think this is a matter of responsibility towards the people who live in these regions, that we do not support the war that is going on there.
Do you think the CDU has given in to pressure from other European countries because there is this exemption for joint export projects? Do you think the CDU has given too much ground?
Well, of course, it is a problem that we do have joint projects, but we do not have common standards on this. And the ideas that other countries have are different from ours. And we should move on to have common standards, of course, which would make it a lot easier to find decisions in all of these cases. It is a fact that the Conservatives, the CDU, and the CSU have a different position on this, but we strongly believe that it is not in the interest neither of the people in the region nor in a global interest to deliver weapons into this region where there is a war going on.
Yes, indeed. Katarina, Minister, thank you very much for joining us. Katarina Barley, German Minister for Justice and Consumer Protection.